Hey everybody, we back again.
We're back. We're all the way back.
There you go. I'm Spencer, and of course we have our licensed clinical therapist, Nas.
They call me Pepper. Today I go by Pepper.
I hope no one calls you that because that is terrifying.
Big Pepper Nas.
Oh God. That's what you tell them when they're in the dungeon. You're like, you call me Papa Nas, damn it. Whoa, sir.
I'll be the baby daddy.
All right, and with that, you know what it is. This is the Different Spectrums podcast, where we talk about movies, shows, and the mental health aspects that surround them.
Yep.
We also like to have some laughs, so don't take us too serious.
Or do. That's up to you.
Jesus Christ, you forgot it. Yep. All right. Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it.
One good thumb. Just thumb it real good.
Thank you. So before we get into the show, shout out to all of our great collaborators. We got Bubs Naturals, Cure Hydration, Pinfinity, Silver Dollar Candle, Two Nerds Candle Company, Cat and Raven Company, and of course, Toink Toys. Who put the toy in Toink? We'll be seeing that ad soon.
Yep.
Go check them out. You can use the code DSP or DSP20 to get up to 20% off your entire order when you check out. Check out our link tree, but then also check it out in the description down below.
Yes. Yeah, just a little down. You just gotta look. You just take a little look. You'll be like, oh damn.
All right, so today we are taking a look at season 2 of Loki. Yes. Today we're going to be talking about Naz's group therapy students. We're going to be talking about Colin's baby. Also, what do you want? What do you want? And we're also going to be talking about friends and some other subjects. So we have a lot to get to today. Naz, what do you got?
I think today we're going to focus on what's, for those of you that haven't been in therapy or don't know what it is, or maybe you don't have a friend that's like real pushy, or maybe like someone that's just pushed you to actually think deeper below the surface. You know, what do you want? I don't know. What do you want? Well, I want this. Well, no, what do you really want? It can be tricky to push people that hard. So we're going to talk about that and how I've pushed clients in the past and even in the last few weeks. And then we're just going to have some fun just about just a few different modalities, group therapy, individual therapy, what that's like. And of course, the visuals, this very relatable. This should help people get a little bit more comfortable with therapy or just working on your own shit. Sometimes, you know, you need to think about things. So I think this is what this podcast will do today is help people dig a little deeper. Right? It's like a Chicago pizza. It's deep. You gotta get to the underlying cheese. You know, and the meat's on the bottom. You gotta get past the cheese to the meat.
That's a lot of cheese.
A lot of cheese. Won't you for a week? All right.
All right. Well, with that, let's get into it, shall we?
Whoop, whoop. Yeah. Whoop, whoop. Let's do it.
Hey, everyone. I'm here to talk about our new collaborator, Toink Toys. They have a wide selection of, you guessed it, toys and other great collectibles. They have products from Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and everything pop culture. You could say they put the toy in Toink. So go check them out at toink.com and use our code Different Spectrums Podcast to get 10% off your entire order today.
However, Mobius's life at the TVA was taken from him, so is B-15's. OB, Casey was a prisoner. They don't remember who they are. Their lives matter. They matter.
Yeah, and they're finally back in their real lives. That's a good thing. Eric, can we get a drink?
But how many, if they had a choice, would have chosen to stay? Mobius always said the TVA was the only life he'd ever known, and he liked it. It gave him purpose.
It was never his choice to begin with, Loki. He who remains did that.
But Mobius should have a choice now. No? Shouldn't they all? To return to the TVA if they want?
No, you would be ripping people from their lives, showing them something that they cannot unsee. What kind of choice is that?
But they didn't get a choice in this. And I can't give it to them without you. You don't care? I guess not. I guess it's all worked out just the way you wanted it to, and you're fine just walking away. So selfish.
Of course I'm selfish. I want a life. I want to live. What's wrong with wanting something, Loki? What do you want?
I want to stop He Who Remains.
No, wrong. Try again. What is it that you really want? Come on.
I want to save this. I want to save everything, all of it.
Is it really that hard? Come on, keep trying.
I want to save the TVA.
Why?
I want the TVA back.
And?
What do you want?
I want my friends back.
2 bourbons, please.
Excellent choice, Sylvie.
I want my friends back. I don't want to be alone.
See? We're both selfish. Cheers. I know this is hard, but your friends are back where they belong.
But without them, where do I belong?
We're all writing our own stories now. Go write yours.
How much longer?
You're putting a lot of faith in those 3 back there. Don't forget Docs. She's part of the TVA. All those dead branches, those dead people. That's the TVA's fault.
What about those branches that are still living? That's because of Mobius and B-15 and those guys back there, OB and Casey.
What if you're wrong? What if you are wrong to believe that this place can be any better? What if I was wrong to spare him? It would just be easier to burn this place down and start from scratch.
Sure, burn it down. Easy. Annihilating is easy. Razing things to the ground is easy. Trying to fix what's broken is hard. Hope is hard.
Okay, so Timely can save the TVA. Then we hope that the TVA turns into something good. Then we hope that Timely doesn't turn into He Who Remains or someone worse. That's a lot of hoping, Loki. I didn't have you down for an optimist.
This is the best option we have.
So you're going to bring him behind the curtain, show him all of this, and then just send him home.
Maybe that's a good thing. We can watch him, protect him.
Interfere for good. Heard that one before.
You can't give people free will and then just walk away, Sylvie. That's not how it works. Now, for better or for worse, the timelines are free. It's up to us to protect them. It's up to us to do better than He Who Remains.
Sounds like whatever we do, we're playing God.
We are gods.
All right, and we are back.
We're back. We're back in my life. Just like all I can think of is potatoes. I'm sorry.
Why?
Just like a good potato.
A good potato. Why'd you make that hand motion while you were saying that?
It's just
I'm jerking off a potato.
It's a strong potato.
Sour cream. All right.
Jeez.
Monday pods, folks. Monday pods.
Monday pod.
That's why we're acting like this.
Monday pod. All right.
Okay, so before we get into it, go check out some of our merch that we got. It's right here. It's green, just like Loki.
Yeah. Just like
and money. Because we want. Okay, well, I'm going to a different direction there. Glad you.
Just like my teeth.
Wow. All right. So, with that, a little bit of background on Loki. If you don't know, brother of Thor. Jesus Christ. So it's not said right before we shot this. He's like, give a little synopsis of Loki. I'm like, really? They already know who the fuck he is.
They don't know.
And if you don't know, then why are you watching this show right now? All right. Yeah. All right. But anyways, a little bit of background. Loki gets this tesseract. He goes, and now he's in this different dimension, right? He's in a different dimension. And then out comes this TVA, the Time Variance Association, or whatever the fuck. And so what they do is they erase any type of timeline that's not supposed to be in the main timeline. So anything else, if you're from a different timeline, you go to the main one, you're pretty much gonna get dead. You're gonna get dead.
You're gonna get dead real good.
You're gonna get dead. And so now we have Loki, and now he's working with the TVA for his own benefit at first, but now he's looking to actually be part of something greater, have a greater purpose. So now we're talking about purpose, right? But now in season 2, we see that He Who Remains was right all along about how if you kill him, then all these other He Who Remains, or Kangs, are going to come into the timeline. Jesus Christ. Beetlejuice. I'm not going to say it a third time. And so now we have all these different branches, and now the timeline's all screwed up. And that's pretty much like the whole season 2 is like all these timelines are branching out, and now we have this whole mess that Loki and the TVA are trying to prevent. And so now we go to the scene where Loki is asking Sylvie for some help. Yeah. And Sylvie, if you don't know, is a variant of Loki. So it's pretty much himself. He's talking to himself.
Yep.
So now for this scene, do you see it as a... Actually, I want to preface it a little bit. I want to preface this. So a lot of people think that therapy is just people kind of just venting, and sometimes it is that, but then other times it's also people being able to get pushed into talking about things that they're not maybe the most comfortable at first, but then they kind of get to that point. If you have a good therapist, they want you to get to that point. Do you see this scene as something, as a good representation of therapy?
Yeah.
Or what it should be, I should say. What it should be.
What it should be, what it could be, depending on what they need, what time, in therapy is it, what's the context?
Mm-hmm.
I tend to like solutions and help people get to where they need to get to, but also I'm in the university setting, so therapy isn't like always weekly, and so we have to do more solution focused, more brief counseling. And saying that, we can hold and sit on a lot of emotions, right, and then go through that, and then support and affirm, validate, support, affirm, and validate. but we have to like get something out of it. And we usually have to do a little digging is like, what is it that you felt? What do you mean? Well, in that moment, you must have felt some type of way when they said this, when they did this, or when they neglected you or they didn't do this. What is it that you felt and why? And so it's hard for some people to get to, the what and the why of things. It's hard to get people to what is holding you back. It's a wonderful question I've learned from my boss, probably about 4 or 5 years into doing therapy, is ask people. So ask them what? What is holding you back from getting the things that you want? What is holding you back from making more friends? What is holding you back from asking someone out? What is holding you back from getting the grades that you want? What is holding you back from getting the internships that you want? Jobs, whatever. What is it that's holding you back? People don't really think about that. Is it myself? What are all these different variants that are holding me back? And I think this scene is pretty good description of what therapy could be like when you're trying to get to that deeper level, right? And I made the joke about Chicago pizza, right? Under the fuck ton of cheese that you choke on, it's like gagging you. Stupid
Right.
shit. Yeah. FYI, Detroit style pizza, best pizza.
No, it's not.
Best pizza.
New York style is always going to be the best. All Detroit pizza is just bread. It's all bread.
I like bread.
Yeah.
I like my pizza like I like my men, thick. I didn't mean it like that. Beetlejuice.
Yes, you did.
Beetlejuice.
You just get out the closet already.
Jesus Christ.
You know what? I know you got to do it on your own time, but stop lying to everybody. All right. And lying to yourself.
I'm trying. I like some thick. To push people, man, it's tricky. It's super tricky. I know this was funny, but it's tricky, dude.
Yeah.
Story time, right? I mean, I was talking to a human and some stuff's going on, right, with this and that going on with work, and we're trying to figure out, how can we get them to feel better and actually think rational thoughts, logical, rational thoughts. Someone intruded on their mental space, said some falsehoods, made my clients think something horrific about themselves. They insecure about themselves now when they've always had high clout of themselves, high status. They always thought well of themselves. Then one person or two people said a few things, and next thing you know, some of my clients, athletes, a bunch of folks, they'll be like, man, maybe I suck. Damn. So those couple words unraveled, dismantled, broke all the boundaries and walls that you had up and who you thought you were. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of working in this field. And so we sit in some of that sadness and we sit in some of that grief. And after I have some battles, because I'm trying to provide rational thought and discredit the individuals that attack my clients, or discredit their family members that shit on my clients, or discredit their coaches or professors, or maybe their Bible, whatever it may be, some of my clients will push back. And I asked, why do you push back? I remember specifically asking one individual, why won't you let me win this argument? Who asked, because maybe I don't want you to win. And I was like, well, why wouldn't you want me to win? I'm trying to help you out, to refute the things that they said, to make sure that you understand who you were before and after them. Well, maybe, and this is where a lot of clients, if you keep pushing why, what's going on? Well, why the resistance? It's okay if folks are resistant. Let's question why you're resistant. The person goes, this things that they said that actually pushes me to do better at my job. I'm like, oh, so you feeling like shit about yourself makes you do better? They said, yeah, fear that I'm not doing well makes me do better. And I was like, okay, I get that. Also, maybe you don't have to think that you're the biggest piece of shit on earth, that maybe you're like, oh, okay, I can work harder and still be a good person and might have messed up at the same time. You can work harder and still believe in yourself and not think that you're a complete waste of like human space. Why do I bring the story up, Spence? Is because pushing people is difficult and you can only do it if they trust you. I would assume Loki trusts is it Sylvie?
Sylvie.
Sylvie, yeah. Also, it's kind of hard to trust her because I haven't watched the new season, but I know the second season, right? She just dipped on him, broke his heart.
Yeah. Well, because TVA they literally took her away from her, like her family when she was a kid.
Yep.
And so now Loki wants to work with the TVA, and and then of course she's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And has her own trust issues with Loki, and she also knows that he's the god of mischief. So
yeah. So right, they're all kind of mischievous. I want to put a pause on some things. So this god of mischief, what the hell does that mean, Spence?
It's just like you're able to deceive people in various ways. Now he actually has powers to like transform into anyone or anything he wants to, and so he's able to trick people and to do whatever he wants them to, unless of course they catch on to his bullshit, like Sylvie.
Why do you think so many people? I'm gonna kick this to you because you're the localized nerd of the podcast. You one of them.
I'm one of them.
You one of them comic book basement sitting motherfuckers breathing hard like, they got the new comic book coming out.
Why you really, motherfucker? It's literally you. I've heard you sleep.
Clarice.
Oh my God.
The other day I was walking down the hallway and I go, hello, Lydia. That wasn't their name, obviously, but and she goes, why did you say it like that? I don't know. I'm so sorry.
I'm a weirdo. And you ran back to your cave like,
anyone want some brains?
Go ahead with your question. Jesus Christ.
Loki. A lot of people identify with Loki, love Loki. Why the hell do you think that is? Is our local history nerd?
From my perspective of the nerdy nature, because especially I think since his brother and his father were, like the gods, Odin, Thor, very well known. And then you have Loki, who's seen as, not as strong, maybe, but equally just as smart or mischievous, I guess, in his own way. He's kind of an outcast, right? And I also think that people really love him because Tom Hiddleston does such a great job of playing him. He can he's such a good actor. It's ridiculous. He's putting on this thespian performance for like a comic book movie. And so once we get to see that, it's amazing to really see him really get into his mode. I think that's why. And then he also really loves the character. And so that people always appreciate that when you can show love from, the validation that people give you. Which some people in the past have, someone like, Gwyneth Paltrow, in the past is just like, yeah, I've never actually seen the movies before. And you're just like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Why? You're in them. Why aren't you watching these? It's that. And then I would just say Loki, like I said, Loki is he's an underdog, right? No matter what he does, and they even explain this in the show, that no matter what, you are going to lose because you are the villain, and villains always lose. And I think as a nerdy society, we've all come to love villains.
Yep.
Especially the good ones, right?
Yep.
Darth Vader, love him. Darth Maul, love him. Loki, Thanos.
Yep.
People have grown to really love villains, and so we get to see Loki try to have that redemption in the show of being a villain and causing a lot of pain and turmoil to others. And it's a really great story. It kind of sucks though that the ratings for Loki have kind of dropped from the first season. it really sucks because like this season is really good television.
Okay.
And I wish people would go out and watch it on Disney Plus because it is
Okay.
definitely worth it.
I told you I was waiting to check it out till it's all out there, and so I will. So, real quick, as Spencer said, for season 1, we actually did a clip on it where they showed him that he's the villain. He's always going to be a piece of shit. He's always going to lose, right? And he's like suffering watching these videos of his life and who he was, and it's a horrific scene. Horrific scene that we try to relate to just folks in general, feeling like we're always going to lose. We're always outcasts. Autistic folk, or ADHD folk, neurodivergent folk, queer folk, people of color, marginalized identities. You always feel like shit. So, folks that want to go watch that, I'll do my best to kind of link that here on the YouTube video. But I wanted to tie in, Spence, the Scott of Mischief. Why do people identify with him? Outcast, right? He's got the brains, but he doesn't really fit in, not really strong enough, different dad, adopted, right? Just a lot of shit going against him. And with that, you see in this scene where he finally gets some friends. And she pushes him, what do you want? And he's like, I want my friends. I want this is fucking I want my friends. And then she's like, well, why? Because what the hell is the point of life without them? Pause. He has never really had anything his entire life. No connection, no love, right?
No, except
his mama.
For his mom.
So he had mama.
He loved his mama.
He loved his mama boy.
And that's kind of the thing though, right? Is now he has like people who are especially with Mobius. Not Morbius, Mobius. Jesus Christ. Great film. With Mobius, he actually has somebody who's like trying to push him to be somebody else, to be better than what he was when he was on Earth. And so now that he lost them, he goes, well, I want him back, of course. And now he's finally stepping into that role of being a hero.
Can you imagine if you've never had anything, then you really don't know what you lost. And so he's been kind of miserable, right? And then he's had a lot of losses, man. A lot of losses.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's finally starting to get soft. And then you see him getting soft. And then he starts making some friends, community, and network. And then they take it away again.
Yeah.
No. And so you see the emotion in that scene. And anyone that's ever lost any friends, anyone that's ever wanted their best friend back, or maybe they're like a good, healthy partner, that the one that got away, it's tough. It's really, really, really tough to sit in that grief and that misery. For those of you that have lost folks that have passed away, you contemplate many things. What is the point of life? Why keep moving on? What am I doing here? Maybe why didn't I pass away? I've had students and clients that have been a lot of grief. I have students that have been in school shootings and people have died, right? And there's always that, survivor's remorse type of thing, or survivor's guilt. Sorry. And it's like, why am I here? I even grow up with that. Well, for a long time, I'm like, why me? Why me? Why am I here? What was the point? Why do so many others suffer? And so you finally get this nugget of goodness, and then it's taken away again. Grief is a son of a bitch, man. It'll kill you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And you might end up having suicidal thoughts. Because what is the point of life for some of us if we lose our loved ones? So I remember, so I can talk about this because it's not about anyone else. But I was in group therapy recently, a couple of weeks ago, with clients, and we were all doing icebreakers, right? And I told them that we did the pizza box thing. What box are you? And all that stuff. It was fun. And I ended up talking. I said, hey, we're all fucked up in here. I'm being for real. We're all. None of you be like, oh, I'm scared because I'm anxious and other people don't think I'm weird. All y'all got shit. All y'all a little crazy. And I'll start laughing. And I said, I'm fucked up too. And then we talked about what gives us joy in life. And some people said this and that, and athletics or swimming or friends, and right. And I said, making people smile. I've told this to Spencer many times. I'm like Robin Williams, man. If I lose the ability to make people smile, I don't see the point of life. It's a depressing fucking life. You mean I'm just going to wake up and then not be able to bring anyone joy, not to be able to giggle at my own shit? I don't know. I was trying to make points to these students that without human connection and me being able to vibe and talk shit, I would not see the purpose. Not depressed, not suicidal. But like humans mean a lot to me. We've talked about, Colin and his baby in the past, and like how she went through, scared, thinking that the baby had cancer, getting biopsies, waiting, fucking felt like a month, 2 months. And I remember, talking to him and making sure that he was stable, because you can't afford to lose something like that, especially when you was depressed before. Then you get this little gorgeous little baby, and now they talking about losing the baby. No. So I'm batting around the bush here, but we were just making sure that people didn't take their lives, and that my boy didn't do anything stupid, because it would have destroyed the whole family. My family would have been fucked up. His family would have been fucked up. I'm bringing this up because this is what Loki's going through: deep pain and sadness. And this person's like, "Hey, what is it that you want?" A therapist pushing. This is usually Spencer when a client breaks, because they're like, "Oh, this is what it is," and they're like, "Yeah, what's under that?" Maybe it's this, and then what's under that, and then they usually lose their beans, and then they're just like a puddle, because when people are hiding. A human the other day, Spence, we was talking, and he said, "Hey man, I let it slide. I let something slide because I didn't want them to like deravel." And at the end, I said, "Hey, when you looked up in the air and you put your head back and all that, you was about to cry, weren't you?" And I say, "Yep." "How'd you know?" I said, "That was a weird thing to do, man. You just look straight in the air like this, and I could hear you getting choked up." I'm like, "Bro, you tried to." He was like, "Huh?"
No, it's normal. I usually do that every couple minutes.
I usually throw my head back. Got to get that good air. And then they kind of chuckled, and I said, "You caught that, huh?" I said, "It was pretty obvious, bro." And obviously I teased them about that, but the real thing is what were the emotions that you felt and why? What was it in that moment? Oh, it was the deep sadness because you feel alone and you haven't been able to connect with anyone in a while. And that you feel like, a lot of rejection, and you're different, and maybe a little bit quiet, a little bit more stoic, right? Now, you've just always been the outcast, neurodivergent clients. That's why I brought that up. Is what was that thing there? And if you can tell me, then when you can start to be vulnerable with me, now I can get you to do with someone else.
Yeah.
What do you think about, what questions you got for me, boss?
It's me, a Spencer, and I'm here to talk about our longtime collaborator, Cure Hydration. Cure is a premium hydrating electrolyte drink mix made with organic coconut water and pink Himalayan salt with no sugar added. It contains 4 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks. My go-to flavor is grapefruit, but if you're not into that, you can go and get their variety pack with 8 different flavors to sample. Go to curehydration.com or go to our link tree and use the code DSP20 to get 20% off your entire order today. Hey everyone, I wanted to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Two Nerds Candle Company. Not only do they have great products, but they are also giving back to a great cause. You can tell that they take a lot of pride in making their candles. My favorite is Spock's Monday Coffee. They are also donating 10% annually to support Women in STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. You can use our code DSP or go to our link tree to get 20% off your entire order. We think that this company is great, and we think you will too. So go check them out.
In what way do you think that Loki just getting his friend is like the ultimate answer for him finding his purpose? Now, obviously you haven't seen the rest of the show, but I think you can kind of talk about maybe some clients, students, stuff like that, where, they finally get that one thing that they've always been hoping for, but it doesn't lead to happiness. How do you kind of feel? Do you think other people should be able to find what they want, but at the same time, they should also be able to have other little things that make them happy as well?
The connection one's always the hardest to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to pivot. I'm going to come back.
Yep.
So, I've had clients come in and like, hey, man, I realized that I'm different. I'm like, what you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? He said, I've grown up with a lot of friends and I'm kind of cool doing my own thing, like, isolated, right? I just don't need a lot of folks. I said, okay, that's cool. So I'll go over a couple different disorders that it could be, avoidant personality. Is it because you're scared and rejection and anxious, social anxious? I said, no. Or maybe you're schizoid. You just don't feel deep emotions for folks, certain like that, right? It could be common with like autism. Maybe. I said, hey, man, you know what I think it is? I think you got autism. And they said, what's that? I said, so I pull out the book and we start reading it, the DSM. And they're like, you know what? This is checking a lot of stuff, man. And I said, yeah, I already knew it was autism as soon as I met the boy. And so he's checking a lot of stuff. I say, man, I don't want you to feel weird, like we're pathologizing everything, but now you've got some like words to it. And I said, what's the goal here? He said, you know what? I don't need folks, but I think it would be nice to talk to folks and to like make some relationships. I said, yeah, I think that's true. And I said, why do you think that? Because we just got done talking, right? This is multiple humans. We just got done talking about this club that you're in, this organization that you're in, these Pokemon, this Yu-Gi-Oh that you're playing, right? This anime you're watching, and you're having fun. It's like a show and tell type of thing. Like you enjoy this.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know? Because I seen your ass grinning cheek to fucking cheek. I was? Yeah. The other day, Spence, we was in group therapy and they decided to gang up on me. I don't know if we talked about this already, but they all said I stare at them funny, like weird, like intensely.
Yeah.
Did I tell you this?
No.
Yeah. Couple of girls, they were like, yeah, man, you just be looking at us, man. I'm like, hold up now. I ain't no creep now. No, they said it ain't like that. It's just like intense. Like I said, I be looking away half the time. He said, you just be watching stuff and like when we fidgeting and moving and smiling, I said, it's called therapy, kid.
Yeah.
It's called therapy. But it just, it'd be nice if you weren't watching. So what do you want me to do? You want me to like look away? It was funny as hell. They just like ganging up on me. And I bring this up because we was in group and I'm like, I pointed out how like 3 people acted during the group and they're like, see, you be watching. Oh my gosh, from Blue Streak. What I think he does something. He said, don't just hand me the gun. They looking, they watching. I got to take it from you.
Oh yeah, that was with Dave Chappelle in the
Dave
alleyway.
Chappelle. Yeah. He's like, what you about to do? This about to hurt now. Say what?
What a great movie.
Great movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. But yeah, back on track is that, you end up seeing these folks that it's tough to make connections and it's fine. But also these folks that maybe didn't need it, but now they actually kind of want it. You don't have to need it if you're on the spectrum. Back to what Spencer was asking. Obviously, you don't want to put all your cookies, all your eggs in one basket. You want to put all your taters in one basket.
So many food. Right?
You gotta have your taters spread out. I like a good tater.
Thick of food.
Yeah, I like my taters thick.
Just like your men.
Thick.
Oh.
Sorry for everyone on the podcast. That was probably pretty.
Yeah,
close.
they're gonna fucking throw up listening to that. I almost did. Jesus.
Asian crackers. That's like 5 references to food. I'm not even hungry.
Sure.
You can't put everything in one basket. And, for some folks, connections, humans, loved ones, relationships, marriage means a lot. I'm not gonna lie, the biggest one that means the most to most people, Spence, though, is parents.
Mm.
And, I've been dealing with a lot of that as a counselor. Parents don't love the kids and how they want to, and then it affects everything, Spence. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about it on the podcast a million times that, they don't get love from the parent or they get abuse from the parent. And it ends up giving them like this weird mommy issues, daddy issues, parental issues. They end up picking poor partners based on this. They end up treating their friends poor on this. Or maybe they don't get close to anyone because of the rejection of that parent figure. Right, me and you were hanging out with some homies from SMU, and when we were at the museum. I say, "Hey, how things with your mom?" And they said, "It's good." I said, "Why?" And she goes, "I just don't give a shit anymore." I said, "There we go." I said, "There we go." I said, "I told you you'd grow out of it, right? I told you you'd be independent." She's like, "Yeah, she don't pay none of my bills." I said, "There you go. There you go." So these relationships mean a lot to a lot of people. Obviously, you can't put it all on one individual. That's hella toxic. Spencer talks about all the time. Give this, you can give like 90% of yourself to folks, maybe hold back, maybe that 10% for you. Make sure you invest in that in yourself, other things, hobbies, intricacies. Right. Make sure you got your friends outside of your relationships. Make sure that your friends or anyone's not trying to possess you. And it may, oh no, you if you hang out with them, or you gotta text me, or you can't hang out with them. Well, why not? Well, because that's a boy. Or that's a woman.
Yeah.
That's inappropriate.
That's red flag number one.
Red flag, doesn't matter what gender you are. Red flag. If you try to possess people and tell them who they can't. Hey, if there's real issues though, like, that's a terrible person.
Yeah, if that's legit, but then also at the same time, if it's like, if they've known them for a long time, like longer than that other person, than your significant other, then who am I to say like you can't see them?
Yeah, relationships are good and solid.
The other way around.
I agree. So relationships are complicated.
Yeah.
For Loki, this is his shot at happiness because there hasn't been a lot of happiness, so he's going full. I want to say full throttle. I almost said full frontal.
Boing.
Hey, different spectrums.
Hey.
Hey. And he's going towards something that he thinks is going to make him happy. And we push clients to do that. To do that is to do what she did.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? I think, Spence, the moral of today, the podcast is not so much about all autism. Obviously, we talk about different facets of autism, facets.
Mm-hmm.
We challenge y'all to think deeper, to think about what is it that you want in today? What is it that you want in your relationship? What is it that you want with the partner that you're with right now? I was talking to a student the other day. I said, "Hey," they look at me. They said, "Y'all been talking for like 2 years now. You're getting old, getting close to senior year." I said, it might be one of them questions getting popped. They're looking at me, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I said, "People getting married these days." And they're like, "Oh, I'm just saying, don't be surprised if he pops a question. Don't be surprised." And then we talked about it. I said, because there wasn't a lot of other things to talk about, because a lot of my humans are steady. So we talked about the future. What is that you want in this relationship, jobs, whatever it is. I said, "Hey, this person could be a really good person for you. This could be the person." And they said, "Thank God," because the rest were shitbags. I said, "I know. I was working with you while you were talking to them." Don't be surprised if this human pops the question. And we said, "Do you want to get married?" Yeah. I remember talking to a human a long time ago. I said, "Hey, man, what would happen if, he did ask you to marry him?" She just paused. He said, "I think I would do it." I said, "Do you? What would that look like?" I said, I remember first meeting you didn't even want to date because you were scared to let people in. Now you're talking about getting married? He said, "You brought it up, not me." I just said, "Hey, it's been years."
Yeah.
Fast forward maybe a month after that. Get an email with a ring.
Yeah.
I said, "How you feel?" They said, "So many fucking emotions. I'm trying to process it. Talk to you in a couple of weeks." I said, "Okay."
I need my time.
I need my time to feel this. What is it that y'all want? Life, classes, friendships. If you're missing something, what is it that you're missing?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where we leave folks today, kid, is what is it that you want? What is it that you're missing? What is holding you back from getting those things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And don't be like white supremacy. I don't want to hear that shit right now.
Yeah, Jesus.
I ain't trying
Why
to
are
hear
you
that.
watching the show?
I ain't trying to hear that bullshit. I mean, it could be, but I'm saying like,
What do you want for Christmas? A white Christmas.
hey, what's holding you back from getting
More
the
than the
job you
snow.
want? What's holding you back? The 5 pounds of cocaine I just did.
Jeez.
That booger sugar.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I think it's also important to keep on asking yourself that question of what do you want? Even if like you've gotten everything that you do want, try to find some things that are actually going to not only benefit you, but might benefit the others around you as well. So, and how you can pass along that happiness once you get what you want, right? It's kind of like what you are trying to do, with your, your center, right? You want to, open up like this center for people who can come in and, be themselves, but then also get some help. After you've gotten, you want to give back to your community,
Correct.
right? So it's like, how do you give back to people after you've found what you want in life? I think that's the ultimate thing.
Yeah.
Next, if you have everything you ever want, well, give back to others. That's how it goes.
Yeah. So, what will bring you peace? And then what's the next step? But the next step doesn't have to be monetized. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's something that you wanted in the childhood. So when you're thinking about this scene, folks, also, yeah, like you said, like I just said, what is it that you wanted when you were younger that you couldn't have? I mean, there's a reason why 1/3 of the toys that are bought now are from millennials. Just saying. Hey. There's some things that we wanted. Maybe we're all just depressed as fuck and just buying merchandise to think it's going to make us happy.
Well, I mean, hey, I got Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber, so
there you go.
I'm happy.
I have this shit right now. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you something. I'm growing my lightsaber collection, and it's going to be great. So
growing it. I like that lightsaber.
Anakin Skywalker, here we come. Obi-Wan, here we come. Luke Skywalker, here we come.
There you go. Got them all.
Not yet, but one day.
I think that's a good place to leave, folks, is to think about those things. This pod is to ask people a question. I think we're going to start doing that now, is prompting people to think deeper, to do things, to better themselves, better their lives by listening to the podcast. So what is it that you want? Maybe it's just really good friends. Maybe it's just a fucking cheeseburger. Maybe it's a lightsaber. All right, Spence. Let's. I think that's enough baptizing for today. It's a Monday pod, so we in and out. 2 pump.
All right. 2-punch jump. All right. And with that, thanks for joining us today. Like I said before, go check out all of our great collaborators as well as our merch. You can check that out in the link tree or in the description down below. So go check those out. And also go check out Loki season 2 on Disney Plus. And also the show Echo is going to be coming out in January. That shit look good.
It look good?
That shit look good.
It is thick.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Spencer. That's nice. The Different Spectrums podcast.
All right, everyone. Take care. Much love, much respect. And remember, take care of yourself. Jesus, I fucked that up.
You're such a fucking idiot. Or don't. You fucking moron.
That's completely up to you.
That's Monday. Fucking idiot.
Monday pod.
Monday moron.
Monday. There it is.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is.